flow circuits helps you build microfluidics. So we are currently seeing massive breakthroughs in the life sciences, a lot of super cool stuff that we're seeing today in genomic sequencing, in vitro diagnostics, synthetic biology, and more. But these innovations suffer a problem of distribution because it doesn't really matter in many cases if you have great innovations in a lab, if you can't distribute it to the point of need, automate them, and scale them up. So enter microfluidics. Microfluidics is this great technology that allows us to replace these manual laboratory processes with lab-on-a-chip devices, and it's growing really fast. There is a big problem in microfluidics, though, which I've experienced many times myself. I call it the microfluidics cycle of despair. Right now, engineers are designing a lot of these things on napkins and on PowerPoint presentations. They make a 1920 style animation of where fluid goes when, which valves are open, are the pumps pulling or pushing. It's a big mess. They don't know how to do it. So many projects fail and never make it to market. And so I asked when I was doing this work, what if there was a better way to design microfluidics? We can look at the electrical engineers. How do they build circuit boards? We're building circuit boards just with biological fluids for automating labs. So I looked at what they did. They can design detailed, complex PCBs and schematics. They can simulate performance with all the voltages and currents. They can translate that to a PCB, and they can hit go and fabricate that part in 2 weeks. So I asked, what if we could do that for microfluidics? I think it would be really, really powerful. And I think that was really important. So that's what we built. Our platform allows you to simply design, test, and build microfluidics in a really, really easy way. We do that with design, test, build. Like I said, the product is live, and we have early traction from great companies like Roche, GE Healthcare, and NASA. So we have a great product. They're giving us great reviews. How do we build a great business around it? The first way we're going to do that is with our premium SaaS product. They're paying $320 per user per month. And then on top of that, we have our marketplace model, which allows users to procure these beautiful custom microfluidic parts in injection molding, 3D printing, and thin film laminated assemblies, as well as the off-the-shelf components that make these possible, the pumps, the valves, tubing, connectors, and sensors. And what's great about this is that those marketplace suppliers drive their customers into our platform to make a flywheel for growth. The last piece of this is really important. It's our data acquisition. We are building the best microfluidics data in the planet so that we can make microfluidics the last layer in the life science tech stack. There's all kinds of great AI tools being built in drug discovery and life sciences tangential to this. How do we actually move fluids around and perform them in the end? We think we're the platform that's going to make that happen. So microfluidics market is very big, but early, and there are still significant unmet needs in specialized tools and software. There are no competitors offering an ECAD type solution for microfluidics design. There's a lot of applications to this technology and untapped potential. And we do have the team to build this. I have 9+ years experience developing these types of products. I developed the first marijuana breathalyzer to the market, a NGS sequencing machine, cell processing system, early cancer detection, a lot of this stuff that we've been looking at today. I have also got experience building vertical SaaS applications in the HVAC system design market. And we have some impressive investors as well. And in fact, I would put my ask up here, but we just closed our fundraising about a week ago, and we're going into accelerator program, which is not public yet. I can't tell you about it, but you'll see that news pretty soon. So thank you. I'll take your questions. And I'm here, so if you don't have your questions now and you think of it later, just tap on my shoulder.
Hello again. We spoke earlier this year. Yeah. So one of the One of the wrinkles with that I've seen in like medical device design is when you make those circuit boards, you still have to go to EMC testing, right? And so the model doesn't predict everything perfectly. And I'm wondering to where the edge cases and what's missing and what can't you get. And I guess if you get your virtuous cycle going, that will help. But what keeps you up at night about the edges?
That's a really good question. So there's kind of first order effects of fluidics, what goes where, when, and that's really the layer that we're creating the most value today. People are struggling when they have 25 valves in a system. What needs to be open in order to even just get to this edge of my circuit board? So that is like the first order effect problem that we're focusing on first, so that more people start building these things. But there's totally second order effects. Like on this scale, there's a lot of physics happening, right? And so we account for things like the surface tension of the fluids inside the device, the contact angle between that specific fluid and the material in the device, which affects the capillarity, et cetera. But at the end of the day, we're not a CFD software really solving really computationally expensive problems with boundary conditions, et cetera. But we do produce these 3D CAD models automatically. There's no SolidWorks or CAD being used for this. This is all flow circuits. So theoretically, those models could be fed into third-party CFD like the ANSYS or COMSOL that enable in-depth analysis.
And this might be nerding out too much, but can you make a problematic flow system, make a prototype, measure the performance, and do that iteratively? Or do you want
today? No, but where we're going with the AI and integrating, just like a lot of companies right now are getting funded to build smart routing and PCBs and basically generative AI for PCB design, we're going to be able to do that with microfluidics. And what's going to be important is incorporating the knowledge of those secondary effects back into those models, either from first principles or from empirical data.
As an investor, when you tell me there's no competition, that's spooky.
That's not. So I could show you this. So what are people doing now for microfluidics? There's custom engineering solutions. There's non-microfluidic software people are using. There are a couple. So there's this fluid device here that are starting to enter the microfluidics design software space. It's not, we're not the first ones to have this idea, but we're the first ones to execute on it.
And what's your protection against these or any other company?
Our moat is primarily, well, there's our stickiness, there's our marketplace suppliers. So right now, people do these custom engineering projects, $1 million plus engineering projects. And at the end of the day, they need to manufacture that. So we are building strategic partnerships with the people with manufacturing, because I don't want to go build a big manufacturing facility and do all this ourselves. We want to bring these projects out to the people with the capability already. So the fact that someone can go hit add to cart and get the part directly from where they need it, that's a strategic connection. That the other software solutions, when you can't actually get the part at the end of the day, isn't a full solution for you as a scientist in the lab.
Do you have such exclusive relationships right now?
With a 3D printer, with this thin film laminate assembly provider, and then several, LOI is the wrong word for that, but in injection molding, we're building those as well. Pretty close.
So does your platform today require any sort of high touch at any point? Is it sort of like an upsell that you're doing? You know, I looked at some of the companies that you have, and for full disclosure, I'm part of New Fund, but I have not sat through your particular due diligence conversations. But I just trying to understand it. I came out of actually the semiconductor business, but I'm not completely getting exactly what you're deliverables are today and what they might be perhaps in the future? Because right now you have this sort of subscription service, but what's it going to look like, you know, a couple of years from now?
So people hit a button and then they get this part out the other end. So they can hit add to cart. I can show you what the whole process looks like. And our manufacturers create this and send it to the users, to the engineers, to the scientists on the other end. Then they can go use those in their lab. That whole process is taken care of by Flow Circuits. And that's our deliverable.
And will you always, as you scale, will you always be doing that deliverable part, or would that deliverable part be localized, regionalized, customer have it on site?
So to be clear, it is a marketplace. So we're not running the machines to go make these things. There may be assembly steps that we will take care of. So bringing in their custom reagents into blister packs, bringing in their lyophilized beads, their mag beads with functional surfaces. We can do extra fancy stuff in here, but I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? It's nice to be the last one because now I know you can't kick me off.
Well, I'd like to give a round of applause for all our startups.
Hey, thank
showcase
you.
companies.